How did you convince your parents to remove your bedtime rule? My little brother almost died because of mine. My parents had this insane 9 p.m. bedtime rule. No exceptions. Weekends, holidays, birthdays. They'd check rooms every hour with flashlights like we were inmates. I was 16 going to bed earlier than kindergartners, but I'd discovered this amazing late-night gaming community. After their final check at 10:30, I'd wait 15 minutes, sneak my phone under covers and game until 3 a.m. Friends from Australia and Japan were only online when I was supposed to be sleeping. This went on for months. Parents bragged about how obedient I was. Little did they know. I felt like I was living a double life. Perfect son during the day, secret rebel at night. The guilt was eating me alive, but those gaming sessions were the only time I felt truly myself. My online friends knew me better than my own family. We talk about everything: school stress, family drama, future dreams. They became my escape from the suffocating rules at home. Every night felt like an eternity waiting for that final bedroom check. I'd lay there, heart pounding, listening to my parents' footsteps fade down the hallway. The silence that followed was both terrifying and liberating. I became obsessed with the routine, counting seconds, memorizing their patterns, perfecting my fake sleeping act. I remember one night, my Australian friend Elisa told me about her little sister who had night terrors. She'd stay up listening for her screams, ready to comfort her. I laughed it off, saying I was lucky John was such a quiet sleeper. If only I knew what was coming. Elisa said something that haunts me: you never know when someone needs you most. I brushed it off as typical gamer philosophy, but those words would echo in my mind later. The weeks leading up to that Tuesday were weird. John had been acting off, more tired than usual, complaining of headaches, stumbling slightly when he walked. Mom kept saying it was just growth spurts. Dad brushed it off as normal kid stuff. I was too caught up in my secret gaming world to really notice. God, I hate myself for that. There were signs everywhere. John falling asleep at dinner, bumping into walls, that vacant stare he'd get sometimes. But I was so consumed with my double life that I ignored my little brother's cries for help. I remember the Saturday before it happened. John came to my room, asking if I wanted to play video games with him. I was exhausted from staying up until 4 a.m. and snapped at him to leave me alone. The hurt in his eyes still breaks my heart. He just wanted his big brother's attention, and I pushed him away for some stupid online ranking. Then, one Tuesday at 2:17 a.m., I'm mid-raid when I hear weird thumping from my brother's room. John was 8, so I figured he fell out of bed. Then horrible choking sounds. I ripped off my headset and ran to his room. John on the floor, body shaking violently, eyes rolled back, foam from his mouth, massive seizure. The sight of him like that, it's burned into my memory forever. My baby brother, who I'd taught to ride a bike, who still crawled into my bed during thunderstorms, was dying right in front of me. His face was turning blue. I'd never felt so helpless and terrified in my life. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely dial 911. Time moved in slow motion. I kept thinking about every moment I'd ignored him. I screamed for parents while dialing 911. They came running, panicked. Mom sobbing, Dad frozen. Paramedics said if I hadn't found him in those first minutes, he could have died. The ambulance ride was the longest 10 minutes of my life. Mom held John's unconscious hand, tears streaming down her face. Dad kept pacing in the small space. I sat in the corner, guilt crushing my chest. What if I hadn't been awake? What if I'd followed their stupid rule? My brother would be dead, and it would have been my fault for not being there. Hospital diagnosed epilepsy. Doctor said seizures often happen during sleep transitions. Early detection is life or death. Parents never mentioned bedtime again. Mom hugged me crying, thank God you were awake. Sometimes breaking rules saves lives. John's 12 now, seizure-free, and I still game with my crew every night.